So today I would like you to open your sketchbooks to page 9. And prior to explaining what you're going to do on page 9, I think it's important that you know what your different supplies will do for you, because I think you will find those super helpful. Some of you have already been using your different supplies and have kind of discovered what they do. And the first thing I'd like to explain to you are your pencils. So you have two pencils. They look identically the same. In fact, they look like they're turquoise blue, but that's just the brand, the turquoise, and actually they are simply leaded pencils. You will notice on the pencil there is a name. That's the brand name. And then there is a 3B right here. 3B is talking about the lead, and it's talking about the hardness or the softness of the lead. 3B is very, very similar to a number 2 regular pencil, but it's just a tidbit softer. Then I gave you what's called a 6B pencil. 6B is a much, much softer lead. I actually love 6B. You could do a lot with 6B. Shading with 6B is awesome. When you are shading, you don't want to see a bunch of lines. You want to see nice transition of dark to middle to light. And I really like what 6B does for you. So, those are your pencils. Now, if you were to buy an art kit, you can buy a ton of different pencils. And they generally have a B after the number or an H after the number. And what they are is they're talking about the lead that's in the pencil. If it's really fine and sharp and hard, or if it's really soft and thicker. And you're going to discover as you work with the different pencils. Then you have this little chunk here. This actually is a magic rub eraser. I love these erasers. Reason I like them is because they're white, and when you erase, you don't tend to get, when you're using a pink eraser, like on the bottom of a number 2 pencil, you don't get any marks. You don't get pink marks or smudges. And so that's what I love about this, is it's white. It works really well with lead. Now, of course, depending on how hard you press on your lead, sometimes you just simply can't erase anything. But this is a really great go-to eraser. It will work on colored pencil somewhat. It will also work on charcoal somewhat. So it's a good all-round eraser. Now, you've noticed that I have cut these, and it's actually a 1/4 of an eraser, and these are called magic rubs. Magic. Then you will notice this little thing here. Now, these are what an artist will call many different things. A blending stump, a smudger, and you will find these also in different thicknesses. To be honest, this one here is a fairly small one. You can get them much thicker. You also can get them and they're hollow inside. I do not like those because they collapse. These work really great to move your lead around in little tiny spots. Now, I told you if you have the chance to grab yourself a piece of paper towel. I just grabbed a piece of paper towel here at school, but a piece of toilet paper, because that also will work to smudge your lead around. Also, your good old finger will work. But a lot of times, I don't like to get lead all over my finger because I find that I am a slob and I contaminate and get that over my paper in places I don't want it. So, again, using these tools, I think, really help you. So today what you're going to do is this. You are going to do a value key. And you are going to fill each box completely. So you'll notice there's a lot of boxes in the first scale. Same amount in the second, same amount in the third. You're also going to make sure that each box is different from the neighboring box and it's in order. So I have already labeled the sheet for you, and you will notice that I have labeled it hatching because that's the means in which you're going to do this scale. I've labeled it cross hatching. That's the means in which you're going to do this scale. I've labeled this one scribbling or rendering. You'll hear me talk about this as I demonstrate it. I've also labeled down here. What this means is I'd like you to start light at this end and get darker over here. Now, the order in which you do it, you can start with dark first, go down to light, or you can start with light first and go up to dark. And that you're going to kind of discover what works best for you. But what I want you to do is practice with your different materials. So I'm going to show you how it goes. You won't have to bear with me and watch me do the entire page, but stick with me as I demonstrate. And you will notice when I post this assignment, I will post a completed one that I've done. So if you want to refer yours to that one to look at, feel welcome to do that. So in starting out with, I really like to start with my, well, you know what? I'm gonna do it two different ways to kind of show you. But hatching is how I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna start with my 6B pencil because I want to go with dark first and work myself to light. So I'm gonna go with my 6B pencil, and hatching means that I start in the corner and I simply do my strokes the same direction. Now, you may notice here that I accidentally get outside the box a little bit. So why don't you right now with your 6B fill up your first box. Then what you can do is, say you get some little corners that you see some white spots, that's where this little guy comes in really handy, is this kind of melts your lead. And again, rub it in the same direction that you used your pencil. And you're going to notice that your thing gets contaminated with lead. That's a good thing. We will use that. You also can go back with your eraser, and if you're outside your boxes a little bit, you can clean it up with your eraser. Now, I'm going to wait to clean it up until I'm done with the whole scale. You will often hear me talk about mechanical drawing pencils and the fact that I hate them for art. I don't like to use them. The one part of them, though, that I do like is I do like the white eraser on them. So that's the only reason you need a mechanical drawing pencil would be for the eraser. So again, I haven't cleaned mine up, but I will when I'm done with my whole scale. So now I'm going to go to my second box here. And now I'm going to still press. I'm still going to go the same direction, but I'm not going to press quite as hard. So same direction. And again, I'm going to take my blender stick, my smudger, and fill in little areas that are hard to get. Notice there is a difference between those two. Now I'm going to go to my third. I'm going to press even less. Notice also when I use my blender stick that sometimes it tends, because if there's lead on it already, sometimes it tends to make it a little bit darker. So now I'm going to do the other one. Again, I'm going all the same direction. I release the pressure a little bit. I take my blender stick. I'm not taking the time to clean it up yet because I think it's better to do it when you're completely done. Those are fairly close. And keep in mind that you can reapply more lead, more lead, more lead. I'm going to go to my next one. This whole time I've just been using my 6B. I'm taking a lot of pressure off because this lead is so soft. I barely have to even touch the lead to the paper. Now what I may do is I may decide to move from my 6B to my 3B. And now, make sure I didn't get them mixed up. I'm going to not press that terribly hard. Notice that there's a lot of white in there. It might be hard to see. Now say that you don't like using the blender stick. You could use paper towel, and you could use that too. Now I will be giving you time to do this whole thing on your own, so if you feel like I'm going too fast, no worries, you'll have time to do it. Now, I want to show you a little trick that you can do here. Again, this one I'm going to barely put any lead on there, barely put on any lead. I'm going to take my blender stick, I'm going to go over here. Uh-oh, I see, I skipped a box here. Uh-oh. I'm going to blend there. Now notice this, that I got a spot that's actually darker. And you know, the perfectionism in me, I don't like that. So I'm going to take my eraser. I'm going to put a little bit of eraser. Notice I didn't wish the shavings off. Now here's what's so great. Because I have this dirty blender, my next box here, I'm not going to apply any lead at all. I'm just going to use my dirty blender. And the last box I'm going to leave empty. So I go from white to black. Then I need to clean it up. So to clean it up, I'm going to do it with my eraser. So here's scale 1. I'm going to show you how to go about the process you're going to use, and then I'm going to give you the chance to work on yours. This one here is cross-hatching. Cross-hatching starts just like you started up here, this way, just like this, but now you crisscross. So you go, and for me, the way my hand works, it's easier for me if I move my book a little bit. I'm going to crisscross this way. Okay. Then I'm going to take my thing, fill my white. Gonna go to my next box. Again, cross hatching is like this. Fill the entire box, and then crisscross it. Fill the entire box this way. So this is what cross-hatching looks like. Now, I'm going to be honest. Right through here is the squares that probably are the most difficult. Of course, the white is easy. You'll leave that blank. The second one here is pretty easy. You use your blender stick. The one here, you press as hard as you can press. If you feel like you need it even blacker, what you can also do is open up your book and press directly on a table. Sometimes you can even get it darker by doing that. The third scale, you have the choice to do scribbling or rendering. Personally, this is the most popular, and when we start drawing, I will be doing mostly rendering. It's probably the artist's favorite way to shade. So rendering is when you take your pencil like this, and you go kind of in a circular motion, and you do that. Now, some of you will prefer to use the point, and you'll go in a circular motion, the scribbler motion, and you will do this. And then again, you release some pressure. Always know that you can go back and add more lead. So if you feel like you get stuck and in here are all the same, then maybe go back and add more lead, and more lead. Again, rendering is actually my favorite way when we begin actually drawing lifelike figures, lifelike objects. Rendering is what we will do a lot of, and that's just simply using all of the lead of your pencil. So I start with my 6B, and as I get lighter shades, I may then want to move to my 3B. But you're going to discover as you do this assignment, you're going to discover what works best for you. So I will be posting this, and I will be posting actually a page that I've completely done, and that if you want to look at. I also will be posting a video of me instructing you of how to do it.